with them. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys not just obviously the latest on the Dallas Cowboys and everything going on with our team right now, but we're reacting live to some football going on in front of us, the NFC Championship game, something the Cowboys haven't seen in a little while.
I got the clown hat there for old Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones as well.
Well, we have a lot to discuss. It's been a busy, you could say, few weeks for our Cowboys, but before that, hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in our Discord. The link is in the description box down below.
Yes.
And we're going to jump right to it. But first, we have to shout out some people who help and have made possible the MCF side of things here.
Most people here, but the one man who runs the show is the man John Luna. He is the sponsor of the week, I think 6 straight times. 6-time winner as our gifting champion, our membership gifting champion. And John Luna is also 57 points representing it on the stream boss right there, guys. I know we have a shout out for Mr. John Luna.
That's right. Again, this stream and the next few streams will be dedicated to Charlie, his dear friend who did unfortunately pass away recently. So in honor of Charlie, we all will take a moment to appreciate him and what he did for
and our hearts are
around
with
him and his
John Luna and his and of course Charlie's family. And everything he did for I think he did the Little League.
Yes.
And there's actually
T-ball.
T-ball. So there's a Cash App and you can help out. And Charlie and it would be Charlie's Little League T-ball team there because there was after the hurricane.
He was involved. He was involved in his local community and the T-ball team. So in honor of him, that information is also in the description box as well.
Yes. Big shout outs to John Luna. And appreciate him, everything he does, and on his side, in his life, and all the great things he does, but also here just with the love and support for the channel. As a Houston Texans fan, big shout outs to him.
Yes.
And also huge shout outs to Skeptical fan, who is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and he's our Cash App king. He just took it a couple weeks ago for the first time, had a streak of queens, Cash App queens, but Skeptical fan is the king, and he did drop a little love in the Cash App, and I'm sorry, not Cash App, in the PayPal side of things. And I did want to say that he is currently the leader for this week.
Huge shout out to him.
Thank you, trying to finalize the week today here with this stream. It's kind of the week is really 3 weeks. It's been like a 3 week. We've had about 3 streams in like 4 weeks. So, we try to build one up to a bigger, championship, stream for not just the NFC and AFC, but also for the sponsor of the week, Skeptical fan. There's a couple different battles going on there, but big shout out to Skeptical fan who said this after dropping 251 in there. Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn are both in the playoffs. Both of them are in the NFC Championship game. I feel sick. And as you see right now, I know it's wrong. It's 14-6. I'm a little behind there, but it is the second quarter. They are both currently playing right now, unfortunately, and there's some facts being
Mm.
dropped there by the man staying
Oh,
skeptical.
Jalen Hurts gets sacked
Yeah,
though.
he gets dropped, Jalen Hurts. And listen,
Mm.
I don't know, there's nobody really here we can really sit here and say, yay, because it's Washington and Philly. I mean, these are some of the more hated teams for all of us, all Cowboy fans. So if it was up to me, I guess I hope that the Washington wins and then loses to the Buffalo Bills next week and Buffalo beats
Mm.
KC. That's my
I
hope.
know.
That's my hope. So, anyways, those are the
That would be the
champions.
dream.
Those are the champions right now when it comes to the leaders. Nobody's even in the gifting board. We haven't really been live too often. So, the gifting board is wide open for someone to take tonight. And, so of course, Skeptical Fan currently leading with a little bit up in there in the PayPal, which, equates to the Cash App crown. The overall board, John Luna back in that star level. He is tied with Aussie, who's in the star level. And those are the two. The Eagles kicked a long field goal. The
Dang,
Eagles
he
missed it.
missed.
Yeah, 54-yard attempt by Elliott goes wide right,
Uh,
and that keeps it at 14-6 in the second quarter. Keeps the Washington Commanders
hey,
one
there's
score
4
away.
picks, yeah.
And they have half our team on defense, and they have Dan Quinn. This is almost saying. This almost shows you why Jerry Jones is a clown.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying, Dan Quinn, even they had a bad end of the season with the Cowboys in the playoffs there against Green Bay last year. He was the most respected man in the house there, in the building, and you can see he's the most respected man in Washington as well. So anyway, we'll talk about this and more here about our Cowboys and the disaster that it is, and we've been saying it for 8 years on this channel. The clown show is the clown show. It is not the players or the coaches as much as it is the front office and Jerry and Steven. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get the fam here. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but big shout out to Skeptical Fan for dropping facts, and we'll get more into that as
Yeah.
the stream moves on. Now, and I know we have to, we just shouted everybody out here. I do want to shout out a couple people throughout the past week or so that have been back in the membership, like the man Justin Quarles, the Q man in the silver level. We got Indian Boogie in that navy blue crew. We also got JD from DC, who right now is got what he lives where the enemy plays in
Yes.
Washington. But hey, do you want Washington or Philly in there? I want neither, but we gotta hope one, I guess, gets in. William Burney also in the navy blue crew. Big shout outs to you. And like I said, Skeptical Fan dropping some love in the uh, PayPal side of things. We got Roy Strasner in the membership as well. So again, big shout outs to you guys. Dwayne Broussard, Alpha Male Pimp. Yes, that's his name. Tammy Soltis. Like I said, John Luna. Big shout outs to him. And I think everybody else we basically got caught up on. Just want to make sure from our little couple week and a half off, you guys caught up with the shout outs to those that dropped the love there. So just a little takes a little longer. And again, we also do the shout outs for those in the star and over everything level. But it is, missed a couple fan Fridays, which means what? We got to go back and kind of shout out to silver level 2 for a
That's
couple of
right.
fan Fridays like Calvin Richard, Justin the Q Man Quarles, Top Dog Bay Bullies, which of course, aka Dwayne Broussard.
Top dog.
Yeah, the top dog. We got A. Lavelle, who's the record holder, 54 months in the silver level. And, star levels, of course, always John Luna and Aussie.
All right.
Aussie. There you go. That's the representation there on the boards there in the silver, in the star, and the over everything level. So shout outs to you guys making this thing work and go forward, right? Again, right now we're kind of like, Cowboys giving us nothing to go forward about. Now, there are a couple other ways to drop the love. I'll call it the after dark way. So there might be some after darkers stopping in here a little early for them, but after dark.
Of course, you have, the Cash App, Money Sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. You have your regular PayPal link, which is the My Cowboys Family at gmail.com. And the Streamlabs link does let your comments show up on screen just like a super chat would if you did it like through YouTube.
Yep. So there you go, guys. And again, shout outs to people in the chat right now, if I'm not mistaken, right? There's a couple people that drop some knowledge in there, some highs and and hellos, and want to discuss some of this as a family, so to speak, when it comes to our Cowboys and the embarrassment that they've currently, I believe, are going in the direction. But
Yeah, definitely want to read a few comments in the chat and do some shout outs here because you guys are spot on. There we go. At least Daniels runs for a nice little set of yards there.
Yeah, again,
Keeps
Washington
the drive
currently, it's 8:38 to go in the half for Washington and Philly. But Washington is on the drive here. Philly just missed a long field goal. That's his first career missed field goal in the postseason for Jake Elliott. So right now they're at midfield, 2nd and 4, with 8.5 minutes to go in the half. So again, that's to make it at least a close game. I don't know. I want to see Philly win. I have no choice but to kind of I guess say let's see Washington in there, but it's I hate I
Look,
can't.
you're
It's a
picking the prettiest turd here.
yeah.
Like we're doing the best of what we got. So, with that said, let me go ahead. Do some shout outs here
Shout
in
out
the
to
chat. Baby, keep your eyes on the screen at least so we
yes,
know
yes,
what's
yes,
going on with
yes.
the game. So, talk to Sully. What's up?
Yeah,
Not personally agreeing with all of the things there, but definitely agree with the sentiment there. Saying Bible verse Proverbs 16:18, pride goes before destruction.
mm,
Speaking on Jerry Jones, saying Jerry said he could get any number of head coaches to win Super Bowls with Dallas. Well, I say this:
mm.
200 GMs could not get Dallas to an NFC conference game within 10 years, compared to our 30-year drought.
And that's where the poison starts at the top with Jerry and Stephen Jones, and everybody's finally seeing it. So we've been saying
Mm.
since the start of this fucking
Exactly. So Matt
YouTube
Batten,
channel.
shout out to you.
Yeah,
Saying, man, if the Chiefs win tonight, I'm not trash Super Bowl. Find something else to do
yeah.
Super Bowl
If the Chiefs
Sunday.
and the Eagles
Yeah,
win,
he
that's
basically said he's like, yeah, if the Eagles
yeah.
win, I'm out.
And the
Like,
only team I think we're all like kind of, I guess, hoping that wins is Buffalo. The Bills that win the Super Bowl. There you go. That's the best case scenario
yeah,
over the Chiefs would have three teeth. That'd be the first time in history. The Patriots and the Cowboys couldn't do that.
yeah,
That would be a disaster in that sense. But I cannot have the Eagles winning. I don't want the Eagles ever winning a Super Bowl. So
yeah. I don't want that matchup ever again in my lifetime.
yeah, and Washington being in there, if they win, they would have four Super Bowls. They're one behind us, and they would have the most recent, shiny new one. They all get to talk shit but us. Hey,
I mean,
Washington here breaks a play. Goes to a 2015 10
is he gone?
5
Is he gone?
touchdown. Looks like they're calling it a touchdown.
That
And
was
now, if they go
nice.
for two, it's a tie with 7:05 to go in the
Oh,
second quarter. Just want to update everyone. As you see see the
mm.
cartoons of the four guys left. And then you see my head jumps up and down when I speak most of the time when I remember to put it on because we are talking. It's a 45-yard touchdown. Basically, it's a 10-yard hitch inside, basically an in route
Mm.
there, and just gone by Scary Terry McLaurin for the touchdown.
I
These are
think
looking good.
the worst part about this is that either team that makes it successfully onto the Super Bowl here, we're still facing a good chunk of former Dallas Cowboy,
Mm,
either players or staff in
yeah,
some
yeah.
capacity,
Kellen Moore and the
right?
Eagles, and really Washington's half the team
Yeah.
plus Dan Quinn. So yeah, right now this score, even though I hate to even have to even I don't say broadcast or react to this game.
And they are going
Yeah,
for two, by the
oh
way.
yeah, hell yeah, you should go for that
I
tie. Put the
agree.
pressure on the home team. That's the whole point here. If you're Washington, they kind of if they go out left.
Oh, I
Do
don't
not
think he
fool
got
them.
it.
Do not fool
Yeah.
the Eagles. The whole play was to fool the Eagles. It did not work, and that's where
Yeah.
it stays for now.
But
Down.
still, we're honestly not getting it and being down by 1 point. Like,
No, but you don't.
trying to go for it was worth
It
that
could
risk.
hurt later, but right now it's we'll see where it plays.
It still feels like the smarter play overall.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all you can do is what you have in front of you. Let me keep going with the shout outs here. Kenzie Bance, and yeah, I'm tired of Commanders fans. I'm from DC and I hate them Commanders. I
Yeah,
can understand
I hear
because
you.
obviously that's how I feel about Philly because I
Yeah,
grew up in like the general
you did.
Philly fan area.
No,
So,
but one thing I will say, if you guys didn't see the video already, that unites these two teams is us. We're even
mhm,
on their day. They're in the parking lot,
I
Eagle
know.
fans and Washington Commander fans saying, fuck Dallas. You know what I'm saying? They still hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Fuck the Cow.
Like,
They still are hating us on their day. It's insane.
OG Lokes 09, thank you for being here. Great point. He said, how can the Jones family sell the shoddy hire to the fan base? It does nothing to move the needle.
Nothing at
Just
all.
more of the same. I hope their sales drop severely this year in order to force some real change.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in detail today and want to hear from you guys as well. So, we will be going, not really about the game for us. We're just keeping you abreast and we'll give you our reaction. We'll pop the camera on here in a minute.
But
We
it
want to
feels...
go through some of the Cowboy details of things.
So
Yeah.
anyway, let me go ahead.
And the pain is watching this game. This is the pain. This is directly relative to the Cowboy Jerry Jones moves. Is
Exactly.
because of the fact that both Washington and Philly, both teams in the NFC East, both rivals, both teams. I mean, Washington's been in the dumps and 4 wins last year, and they're one away from the Super Bowl. I'm just saying that they're 2 down on the Eagles in the second quarter. I'm just saying this is what I'm talking about. The Eagles been there multiple times because of Howie Roseman and the general manager. That is their general manager, Howie Roseman. So when you see that, that's where the difference lies. That's the difference between us and them. And Jerry Jones still thinks it's not him. That will be the clown show forever, unfortunately.
Yep. So, Hurricane Jason, shout out to you. Cowboy Execution, what's up? We have Bobby Bottles in the house. He said,
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you to broadcast so we as a family can talk about the dismal
All
Dallas
right.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Execution even asked, what's Bozo and Ronald McDonald?
I think you all know where they're at.
Chart Batty, what's up?
Hey, Charles.
Raining King, much
Some
love
after
to
dark
you.
love right there. There's the clown show, if you want to know, right
Yep.
there. And we'll be
So,
talking about that a lot more today. But yeah, just let me know when to kick it off, because I do want to give, like, we're gonna have halftime. It's gonna be a little downtime, and then which is coming soon here. And we can maybe dive deeper into the discussion. But I want to try to bring everybody up to breast, up to
yeah, so let's talk about what's leading all of us to, really get the wool taken off our eyes, at least, for
Right.
those of you guys who, still, like, it feels like we still did have hope. Like, I hate to say it, but this did feel like a crushed, any small sense of hope you might have still had in our team for a little while there.
Well,
So,
let's start off as the Washington Commanders kick off with 7:05 left in the half to the Eagles, and they will return it. It's a fumble. They pick it back up and run it into the 25, 27. Washington stops them there. They have a good defense too. I know the Eagles have the best defense, but Washington's defense is pretty good too. Anyways, as I get to the facts of the matter, listen, with Washington beating the Lions last week
mhm.
in the divisional round, they got them to the conference championship. That means that Detroit did it the year before that against San Francisco, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. They lost. Washington did it this year. We'll see what happens today. But both those teams are the only teams that had a bigger NFC Conference Championship divisional drought than us. Those are the only two teams. Now at Washington, of course, being here now, the Cowboys have the longest NFC Conference appearance drought,
Yeah.
which is an embarrassment. Um, and when it comes to the AFC, only the Dolphins and the Browns are in that same boat. Like are with us.
Yeah.
It's like the Browns, the Dolphins, and then the Cowboys. And in the NFC, it's just the Cowboys. It's right now, route wise. I mean, 29 years for the Cowboys. The next team, the Bears, 14 years, and then the Giants, 13 years. They have a Super Bowl in that
Wonderful.
14th year ago, right? The common denominator. Do you guys remember what the common denominator is for the last 29 years? Not Dak years, not Romo years, not Parcells. You guys remember not just the post Jimmy Johnson years. Do you remember who's the
Mhm.
common denominator the last 29 years of not making it to the conference championship? Jerry Jones. And of course, you throw in there Stephen Jones. The fucking clown show. Fucking clown show. So that's the common denominator.
Exactly.
The last championship game appearance for the Cowboys, 1995. The Bears were in 2010. The Giants, 2011. The Seahawks, 2014. The Panthers, 2015. The Cardinals, 2015 as well. Nothing good here, guys. So the Cowboys said, fuck it, let's make a coaching change. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's get some new blood in here. Let's get something going. Saying, or I would say, let's bring in, a guy for a couple years, a legend coach, as the tush push works for
Yeah.
a first down for the Eagles and 5:40 and ticking in the second quarter. But I was saying, Belichick, at least he has the Jones's ear a little better. Maybe they'll listen to the coach a little more. He went to University of North Carolina, although there's still some question about that. I don't count it. And all these other rumors about what may happen, we talked about that last time we were live, and then the final decision was made on Mike McCarthy. The Cowboys are making a coaching change after the Cowboys finished 7-10. McCarthy had informed his coaching staff that he will not be returning to the Cowboys. He's the one that informed his coaching staff. Basically, when his contract expires, he's not being renewed as coach. He's not really being fired, you can say, I guess, but it's more of a non.
He's not being rehired.
Yeah, your contract is up.
Yeah.
See you later, kind of
And
deal.
it's not being renewed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the way the feel it goes as Jalen Hurts basically takes a sack there for the most
Oh.
part. Anyways, so as I said, Cowboys are firing Mike McCarthy. Sources indicated that there was conflicting dialogue between McCarthy and Jerry Jones, and that no contract was ever offered. It sounds like Mike McCarthy wanted to do things his way. Jerry Jones said no. And that's where McCarthy's contract expired. And that's basically it. Jerry Jones' statement on the decision to move on from McCarthy, and move on and get a new coach of the Cowboys. He did confirm that they did not reach the point of attempting to even negotiate an extension. Both sides parted ways before ever getting to that stage, he said. This is Jerry Jones saying this about McCarthy. And a week after intense discussions, according to Jerry Jones, about the team's future and direction by Jerry Jones's viewpoint, they decided to ultimately go in different direction, part ways. So there was a disagreement between both Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. on whether or not this could ever be repaired. There were just too many disagreements, and even though it was discussed, saying it, but it was never a context of numbers when it came to the actual contract and what was going to be offered to McCarthy or not offered to McCarthy. So um, they were not on the same page. Both sides, that
Yeah.
you can see the writing on the wall. So now McCarthy was free to speak to other teams in the NFL. He's a rare three-time NFL head coach as a Super Bowl champion. And what kind of level of interest there was? Well, the Bears were looking at him. They confirmed there was interest in McCarthy, and the Saints had interest as well. McCarthy became an NFL player again for the first time in New Orleans. A player, I'm sorry, he became play caller, offensive play caller for the first time in his career in New Orleans and worked with GM Mickey Loomis. So there's the pull there. And then the Bears also interviewed him, I think last Wednesday for a job there with the Bears as a head coach. And it's funny because the Bears is the team that McCarthy has beaten the most in his career, 19 times. So they said, hey, we want to see what he can do for us. But then after interviewing him, they said, nah, we're going to go with the Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. He is now the Bears' new head coach. And again, it's funny because he was the most coveted head coach, maybe out of his new core of coaches. The Cowboys never even bothered interviewing him. Shows you the way Cowboys handle
show you
that.
how serious we are.
Yeah, two things can be true, right? Ben Johnson was never going to coach in the end with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, kind of dragged the McCarthy decision so long that it hurt any kind of chance to even try to sign Ben Johnson, even if they were interested at all in that. So just Cowboy management showing you they didn't even bother going after the top guy, and the Bears even said, after McCarthy or top guy, they went with top guy. Top prospect, saying Cowboys signed their ass basically the whole time. So McCarthy, the only other thing I would say is the connection. I think you brought this up with me off camera, of course.
Yeah.
Off stream was that the Saints had much more interest in the sense of right now. And what I have is he was expected to speak with the Saints early next week, but no firm date has been established. But that is the plan. He's a key candidate in New Orleans now.
Yeah.
And it's a 4th and 5. I was just going to say on the screen there, but I don't know if you wanted to kind of elaborate to that.
Complete there by Washington. Let's see real
they're
quick
going
after
deep,
this.
And it's a catch by fucking Philly on a 4th and 5. They just did a Des Bryant type play,
AJ Brown,
and he made the AJ Brown with the catch there, and so now they're about the 2:08. So we're going to hit the 2-minute warning now, and they're in the inside what 1st and goal maybe in that range. Incredible. So the Eagles, they're earning it. Well, the Cowboys, look, this is the issue here when it comes to this team. It's a disarray for us. Yeah, it's on the 15, inside the 15 for the Eagles right now with 2 minutes in the half, up by 2.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I don't know if you had any more about the Saints.
No, obviously there hasn't been any exact firm date. All we know is that the interest is real, and it's real on both sides. But like you said, haven't heard any movement. And obviously with the actual NFC and AFC Championship games going on today, I don't really expect any movement until we hear probably that after they interview.
Just the main thing about McCarthy is, he's gone.
Yeah.
And that's it. McCarthy, let's get him off the screen. We won't see him here on this screen very often ever again. And another guy I wanted to say, which is one of our coordinators, is John Fossil. John Fossil, he's gone as well, guys. The Tennessee Titans hired John Bones Fossil as their special teams coordinator. That's a big hire for Brian Callahan. Brandon Aubrey spoke about this. He said it was a tough week losing his coach, Bones, to the Titans. Quote, he's talking about, this is what Brandon Aubrey said about Bones. Quote, he took it all the way to the end, waiting for the Cowboys to give him any sort of inclination of what they were going to do. And then it didn't come to be. So basically, he was just not told anything. And he said, all right, I guess I got
left on red.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Cowboys for you. What do you expect, right? And then
he couldn't sit around and wait for the Cowboys to maybe consider hiring him back.
Yeah, he didn't get a definitive answer. I guess that's the answer. There's no answer, then they don't want you. So he said to the Cowboys, I'm going to Tennessee and see you later. No more John Fossil for good, bad, or ugly. Now we also know about a very popular coach for the Cowboys, Al Harris.
Yeah.
It sounded like the Cowboys were not interested in having him come back as well. It's almost like a complete rehaul almost. And this is with, we know that Schottenheimer's new coach of the Cowboys. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Al Harris was first like hearing that we're not going to take him back. He's left on red as well, it sounds like, right? In a way. And for a little bit, for about a week or so, there was like nobody really mentioning in the coaching world anything about Al Harris at all. And then all of a sudden, it happened, guys. You got to remember, Al Harris was basically an assistant head coach last year, promoted to assistant head coach. That's a big deal. And then no comments for a week. Well, all coaches can
No,
be hired.
nothing.
Nothing. Well, Ben Johnson said, "Hold up, bring me Al Harris to Chicago."
Hmm.
Well, McCarthy, it was Al Harris. Al Harris joins Ben Johnson's staff in Chicago. Patrick Walker, kind of broke this, and basically they added Al Harris to his staff to be the Bears' passing game coordinator on the defensive side. I don't know what he was doing with the Cowboys
Yeah.
before this past year. He was passing game coordinator. So as you can see, Cowboy coach is still getting picked up as we are just kind of sitting on our hands, not really doing much at this point, not really even interviewing many people. I mean, you had Cliff Kingsbury as a guy, maybe
Yeah.
Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Joe Brady, Liam Cohn, Helen Moore, Pete Carroll, who's now with the Raiders, by the way, John Gruden, Ron Rivera, Steve Sarskanian,
Skarsgård or something.
from Texas. I forget I can't ever say his name. They were talking about, like I said, Cliff Kingsbury. Ben Johnson would have been the best choice to most people's thoughts. I don't know if I would say yes or no on that, but the point is he was the hottest name. Um, I think Mike Tomlin, if somehow we got him, would have been great. You have to trade for him. Deion Sanders is more of like the Jerry Jones kind of like, hey, look, flashy pick.
Mm-hmm.
The worst pick in my mind was Kellen Moore. Would have been Kellen Moore, although this
Really
one we
interesting information though about how that interview went down. Though apparently the Cowboys didn't use the full time
yeah
during their interview.
yeah. No, I know. When it comes to the Kellen Moore thing,
Yeah.
we're gonna get to Kellen Moore a little more detail. Trust me. Look, Pete Carroll to me was one of the better options. He went to the Raiders. Um, I thought earlier it was going to be more Kellen Moore. I was hearing like people saying names like Jason Witten, which was disgraceful. So, as far as the head coaching stuff, guys, again, the front office knows what they have in Kellen Moore as a head coach.
Yep.
And again, they had an interview, they had a second interview, like you said, and you said that it didn't even use all the time on that,
Yeah,
right?
so they ended up they had like I think 3 or 4 hours to do a Zoom interview with Kellen Moore. They only used 1 hour of it, and from all the quote unquote sources. So again, take this however you want to take
Mhm.
this, but Kellen Moore had serious, deep interest in the job, but it sounds like the Joneses weren't as serious about Kellen Moore
Mm.
getting the job, I guess, that after that second go around. So, again,
Yeah.
not sure if maybe Kellen Moore actually opened his mouth and said he wanted to do things the Kellen Moore way and not just necessarily the Jerry Jones way.
I don't know.
Uh,
I
but
can't
it
see.
sounds like the Cowboys weren't as big on him as he obviously sees the Dallas Cowboys head coach job as like his dream job one day.
Yeah. So whatever it was, Jerry Jones and
Yeah,
Kellen Moore
Matt
didn't
Benton
seem
said,
to.
I like Pete Carroll. He's got great energy.
Yeah.
So,
And he's like 80 or something like that. But again, you look at Deion Sanders, who, according to Ed Werder, said he would almost for certain accept that coaching job in Dallas. And you have Jason Witten as the kind of crazier names
yeah.
offered out there. A lot to unpack there, but Deion or Witt or Kellen Moore would have been, I think, embarrassingly a Jerry Jones hire fest in a way. But at that point, Jerry's like, "Oh yeah, mid-February we'll wrap this thing up." I'm like, "Are you thinking? Are you kidding me? Like that cannot be real." So until the actual final hiring of an offensive coordinator. Oh my God, was that a catch? Nope,
Oh,
nope. It was a flag. Okay, so right now it looks like a incompletion for the Eagles in the end zone. It looks like there's a flag on
Washington.
coverage there with the
Whoa.
Washington in the end zone. So it's first and goal at a minute 45 before halftime on a 3rd and 13. Now goes first and goal on the 1-inch line, which sucks. Now, unless it was a holding call instead of a pass interference call, I couldn't tell. It looks like he held them, but that's interference at that level of the play. So
Yeah.
it looks like it should be pass interference on the 1 yard line rather than a holding.
Man.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's you can hold on pass interference as well. I mean, so it's
It was a
and grab his
complete,
helmet there at the end.
but
Either way, yeah, I mean they're gonna take the penalty on the probably goal line. If we hope it's 5 yards, it's still a first down no matter what for the Eagles. And they're about to
yeah,
score with
let's
minute
just hope it's not
45.
on the.
It's,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
first and
first and
goal.
goal.
So,
Well, yeah, I think either way it was gonna be first and goal.
uh,
The first and goal from
I
the
know,
10 or
right
first and
before
goal
the
from the
half,
1-inch line.
that's.
Yeah, if you're watching though, every play here, if you stop them, you call timeout.
Oh, yeah.
You say
You
that
only have
time.
2 timeouts.
Yeah,
Well, I
well,
guess.
and if the Eagles score in two, they're going to tush push it here for the Eagles. So I guess we'll get ready to up the score here for the Eagles because it's almost unstoppable. There it
Yeah.
goes. I mean, that second player, who is that? Goddard? Look at the fight is gone. It's a fight. AJ Brown and
I know. It looks
Washington.
like
Man,
is that
they
Lattimore?
threw a flag. It looks like is it Lattimore? It
I
might
don't
be.
know.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was it was them
That's
earlier that got
crazy.
into it.
Yep, and that was a fight. That play was just made for them to
Oh
fight. Now I think there
boy.
could be some throwing out going on here by
I hope not.
AJ Brown could be thrown out. Fuck him. I hope so.
I don't think
I
so. You want me to
mean,
put the volume up in
he
here?
did rip off the helmet of number
23?
23
Yeah,
from
Lattimore, yeah.
Washington. Yeah, so that you can't do. You can't rip off
Let
the
me
helmet.
see.
They went at it. That was the whole.
Yep. He popped his
And the
helmet
guys with
off.
the black coats came out there, and when they had to break it up, they went after AJ Brown. That means he's out the game, possibly.
Huh. Oh
Just
my god. That was kind of funny. Really?
what? The whole penalty was
What
on.
the fuck?
Both of them were on Lattimore. I mean, not the ball, but the penalty
No,
was on Lattimore. There was no penalty
no
on AJ
penalty on
Brown.
AJ Brown.
Wow, incredible! AJ Brown ripped his helmet off.
That's okay.
That's Philadelphia
That's fucked
cheating
up.
football right there, and they're going for two, by the way. That's what they. That's what Philly does. They like to get those extra little cheating points.
I'm sorry. Those like that's oh, because they're saying that he like shoved him first. I'm sorry.
No,
That's
that's blocking.
football.
That's
That's what I'm
blocking.
saying. Like it's a fucking play going on.
Yeah, that's stupid. That was a dumb. That's a pro Eagle bullshit call. But they're going
Oh,
for two now. Let me fix the score. What's it? Anybody in the chat saying anything about this? Are you watching this? This is crazy, stupid.
no, talk to
Yeah,
say said more tush push.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you're gonna see here. Here it is, Dallas Goddard. He's the main guy. Watch Dallas Goddard the way he pushes him.
I think they maybe stopped him this time.
Yeah, they stopped him. Big stop on a tush
Hey,
push. It's about time someone's. That's a yard. It's not a half a yard. You know.
yep. They're saying incomplete. No good. Hey,
Not incomplete, but
you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
No good.
no good. Here it is. Let's see from this angle from the top. Man, it's just the thing is he can't put his arms out.
Yeah,
So it wasn't enough. Yeah, just his helmet went
yeah.
in, but that doesn't matter. All right, so there it is. You got the up to date right
Way to
here.
go,
You
Washington.
got to
There
hope
it
Washington
is.
either gets a lucky break here and gets a touchdown and tries to tie it
Vince
up,
McMahon said it. They got stopped. Hey,
or yeah, I
they're still
mean,
only. The point is that they're still only a touchdown away or a
yeah, it's
touchdown
still well,
down.
yeah, they're one score down. Score, you meaning a touchdown and 2 point
Yeah.
conversion. So as we keep rolling here, guys, and talk about the Cowboys, we're going to pop the camera on here for the second half a little bit, and talk with you guys about the game and to kind of take your questions. But I wanted to go through the situation before we got, Schottenheimer
Yeah.
to the team here. Let me put Schottenheimer up on the screen here because, well, I guess what I'll leave it like this for now in a minute because after some interviews that we know went down, and I don't know how you guys feel about this in the chat or if you're watching this on replay, it's more like it's almost like a video than it is a live stream,
Yeah.
but it's a live stream integrated into a video. But Robert Saleh, I would have probably been a little more happy about someone like him who's a younger coach that has a good future, I think, defensive minded. Yeah, Leslie Frazier, and then Kellen Moore, which again, like we discussed his situation already.
Yeah.
Other names that we know were mentioned: Deion Sanders, Jason Witten, Aaron Glenn, which I think is another interesting choice if the Cowboys went that way. Brian Schottenheimer started to be mentioned towards the beginning of this week, not this past week here. So the thing was, and we know that there's others going to be on staff here, and I'll talk about the staff kind of getting built. It's going to be some Cowboy names, believe it or not, and it's not should not be surprising. But you had talked about Kellen Moore. I'm going to quickly just mention for those that were wondering about Jason Witten. Jerry Jones in November, when he was asked if Witten could be an NFL head coach, said this, quote, yes, without hesitation. Yes, he has something that you can't draw up. He reminds me a lot of our other tight ends who are head coaches up there in Detroit, like Dan Campbell right now. He's comparing Jason Witten, head coaching wise, to Dan Campbell.
Sure,
So
Jim.
yeah, again, he says, "quote Jason Witten is very sophisticated when it comes to understanding football and the nuances, but more important than anything, he really does understand the physical and mentality of being physical, and that part of it. Without a question, he can become an NFL coach. He has extraordinary work ethic. He can be a top coach. That shows you where Jerry Jones's mind is at about Witten, which again could be a great coach. Also, at the same time, could be he's only coached a high school team. I mean, as a head coach, that'd be an insanity. So luckily that died down. And then listen, I've heard stuff about the North Carolina situation with Bill Belichick. That the reports are that Bill Belichick would have been interested in the Cowboys job, and is believed that the Cowboys would have been interested in him had he not known that the position would become available.
Hmm.
So that's my only issue there. If I had to pick anybody for a year, 2 or 3, give me Bill Belichick and do what he can with Dak Prescott, this offense and this team. That would have been the thing I would have loved. I would have liked to see. Oh my God, Washington just fumbled the fucking kickoff, and Philly just recovered it. I mean, you can't. This is why Philly is just gonna go right into the playoffs, no problem at all. They go right to the Super Bowl, no problem at all. The Eagles just recovered the fumble.
So
they're about to score again.
And yeah, talk to Sully again. I have a feeling that Jason Witten does not want to at all get involved in the current mess that is the Dallas Cowboys organization when he's having a good time winning high school championship games with his children on the team and all that good stuff.
And Belichick would have been, according to reports, Belichick would have been interested, and the Cowboys were interested in him. But the thing was that nobody had decided on what's going on with McCarthy. And that's why Belichick went and did what he did. Belichick and his camp never received any indication during back-channel conversations that the Cowboys' coaching job would open up, which is partially why he ended up at University of North Carolina.
Because Jerry really thought that McCarthy was just going to take whatever the fuck slop he shoveled to him and take it gratefully and just accept a job and feel grateful.
Remember how great of a relationship that Belichick has with the Joneses.
Yeah.
And even with all that, they still weren't like the Joneses really were. The Joneses had their eggs in the McCarthy basket there, right? So,
and you know what's funny? I think part of it is that as much as Jerry respects Bill Belichick, because he will not, comes back to the fundamental truth that he will not concede his power. Tight Church, what's up? Much love to you, by the way. Thanks for being here. The OG Lokes09 also said, Bill Belichick is a no-brainer hire.
Yeah.
But the clowns are too dumb.
Yep.
It's also a head-scratcher. We have not poached any of the Niners or the Packers coaching staff since they have always been a thorn for us.
And, for the Cowboys, it's about Jerry Jones and who he wants and who he wants to, what I'm saying? He's the coach in the reality of things. It's not the decision of Schottenheimer.
Tight Church said, I'm not super mad at the hires, but Jerry and Steven fumbles like always.
Like always. And by the way, unlike always, Jalen Hurts, quarterback draw, touchdown. A flag. But right now, if it's good, it's 28-12. It's 27-12 with the extra point to go. So we'll see what happens. But man, right now, this became a close game with 14-12 with a couple minutes to go. It's on the Eagles, so thank goodness on that. But
Phil.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick and like any of these teams, but I don't want to see Philadelphia win a Super Bowl. There was an obvious hold by Landon Dickerson, I think, there on Bobby Wagner, and it led to the touchdown for Hurts. But again, no touchdown.
The reality is that it is very hard being the younger and less experienced team dealing with this.
I agree.
Philly does have a lot more players and a lot more pieces going on that, have been around the block.
I agree. Yeah, so, they have the experience, which is why I somehow hope Washington pulls it out, because I hope Washington can blow it against whichever team from the AFC, honestly.
I agree.
But anyways, the point is, and I think the Eagles are not going to beat the Bills or Kansas City, but they have the better chance to out of these two teams. And I just got to see both NFC teams lose. One this week, obviously, the loser of this game, and one next week or 2 weeks from now for the Super Bowl.
That should have been a sack.
No pressure. He throws it down the field. No one's open. Incomplete. Again, it's 3rd and 10 with 57 seconds. So you still
holding them to a field goal, I guess, is the best you have here, obviously. But it looks like Dickerson's hurt.
Yeah, he's got an issue going on, and he's frustrated. That's why he was holding. Okay. So, anyways, back to the Cowboys coaching situation. Belichick. The fact that we kept McCarthy so long and without a decision is why Belichick went with another way. Now, also, the Cowboys, literally as recently as a day before we got Schottenheimer signed, Cowboys, it was confirmed sources saying that the Cowboys had emphasis, some kind of level of interest in Rich Bisaccia for head coach for the Cowboys. If you remember, Bisaccia is a special teams coach. But that was, they're calling a flag on a late hit there. He was still in bounds. Everything's going Eagles' way. It's just not.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, obviously they want the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So the point is that Rich Bisaccia, special teams coach of the Cowboys some years back, went to the Raiders with the special teams side of things. Spent 5 years with the Cowboys. It's from 2013 to 2017. And then another coach the Cowboys liked as a head coach for this team,
Mm-hmm.
which would have been maybe the worst hire than Schottenheimer. Um, there's also, according to Zimmer, said that all options are open at the time about his future when it comes to the Cowboys with McCarthy parting ways. Zimmer and other Cowboy assistants, again, their contracts all expired already. Um, Zimmer said he still loves coaching, so we'll see what happens to him. He currently is obviously sounds like he's out the door in Dallas. He's not going to
Yeah.
be the Cowboys coach, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But during this whole time here, the Cowboys were picking the brains of guys like Pete Carroll and Deion Sanders, Rich Bisaccia. And then that's where the news started coming out that Brian Schottenheimer is like kind of like the most, maybe the up and coming kind of choice for the Cowboys here as as talks continued into the day, the last couple of days before the actual signing of Schottenheimer. And just to kind of show you guys and remind you guys who the fuck he is, because you guys may not remember who Schottenheimer is. But yeah, there's Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator. You guys, of course, probably know, but just so you guys know, the Cowboys then decided to say, you know what, let's interview our own guy, our own offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, for the vacant head coaching job. He is well respected in the building. He's not loved like Dan Quinn was, but he's well respected in the building. And has been the offensive coordinator for more than a decade throughout his career, but really never been able to improve much than that. He's never been even close to really being considered as a head coach. So, again, there's some possibilities. Some people talking about Robert Saleh. What if you get Saleh and you get Schottenheimer? All right, I can do that. I guess I can maybe do that with we have a backup plan with a real head coach in Saleh, in my opinion. But the Cowboys are mulling over Schottenheimer's 2 days of interviews. They gave him a second interview like they would Kellen Moore to Schottenheimer.
Okay.
This is their new Kellen Moore now, Schottenheimer. And they figure, hey, you know what? Schottenheimer knows the system. He knows we need him to be our puppet. So maybe we will give him this job here. So 2 days of interviews for Schottenheimer. And, there was a little push from the Pete Carroll group of kind of information that the Cowboys are maybe thinking about signing him. The reality is he signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. The thing I'm thinking is they were asking how is Schottenheimer when he was with you. He was the offensive coordinator, I think, for 3 years, 2 or 3 years with Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. I think that's why the Cowboys are talking to Pete Carroll, not to really sign Pete Carroll. That's my 2 cents there. So basically, it's been confirmed that they made contact with former Seattle coach Pete Carroll regarding the actual opening as head coach. That's what a lot of people were saying. But there was no interviews set up for Pete Carroll to be a coach of the Cowboys. I believe it was really to find out about Schottenheimer. And this, of course, now we know it's official. The following day, Cowboys officially hired offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as our new head coach. This was told to the world by Jerry Jones through ESPN. Quote, Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. He ain't Brian no more. He's now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So basically, he's telling us that Brian basically of the coordinator, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, he's no longer that Brian of a coordinator type. He's now a head coach. He's our head coach, and
I hate
Jerry
to say
Jones
it,
wants to
but
anoint him.
Exactly,
His
like he's
pick.
elevating him in station, and so he needs to be grateful to his king that did so.
And I feel that. I feel that from the way Jerry announced this signing.
And from the way that the whole thing was handled, too.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, speaking of disgusting way that things were just handled.
Let me fix the score. The Eagles scored once again. Another touchdown. They just keep racking up points with Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. I think it's more about the players than it is the coach's calls. But when you have a good number one defense, well, I guess you can do what you want.
Look, let's not pretend that it doesn't take everything to come together and win a Super Bowl. That's the point. To put it down to just one thing or one person, it's more the opposite. One or two things can maybe not work as long as everything else does.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around for most teams, and it seems like the way we're headed, it's definitely more the case than not.
Well, let's talk about it because I'm not going deep about Schottenheimer, guys. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. your guys' kind of comments about this new coach we have in our team, which is really an old coach. It's our former coordinator. But let me just give you the facts on the situation so we're all on the same page. That was what Jerry Jones kind of introduced him as our head coach as. All right, no longer coordinator Brian. Now he's head coach Brian. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So Schottenheimer has a 4-year deal that coincides with Dak Prescott's 4-year deal with the Cowboys.
All right.
Sounds like he's taking the Dak
deal.
Yeah, Dak's out in 2 years. So is Schottenheimer. It sounds like. So just so you guys understand, like the differences, the Bears end up with the Detroit Lions, offensive coordinator, but they interviewed 20 candidates for a head coaching job. The Jets interviewed 32 candidates for their head coaching job and then GM job. The Cowboys interviewed 4 people before officially hiring their own offensive coordinator. So again, I'm not judging Brian Schottenheimer yet. I want to see what he's going to do. I'm not crazy. This is not a good pick. In my mind, this is not a good look or not a good choice for the Cowboys at all. Some people trying to equate him to like Dan Campbell, but you're like literally hoping that 1 in a billion chance this happens. This is not a Dan Campbell situation. So Cowboys right now, it's the process that I'm against. The process of the Cowboys, whether it's players, coaches, it's all comes back and points to ugly things. Again, we're gonna blame Schottenheimer for some of the bad offense or whatever, and Dak because of this and that. When we're looking at the problem, is still the same. It's these two. It's still Jerry and Stephen Jones, mainly Jerry Jones, but he's got the culture there.
And Ty Church, again, I'm not sure who they have interviewed, but like we kind of said earlier, word on the street is that McCarthy's interview is going to happen sometime early this week.
Yeah, you want to know who the Cowboys interviews?
No, the Saints. He's saying have the Saints interviewed anybody?
Oh, the Saints. They are going, like you said, baby. They are going to interview McCarthy soon. I just didn't know I thought you meant the Cowboys, who the Cowboys officially interviewed. It was Robert Saleh, Kellen Moore, 2 times for him, Leslie Frazier, and Brian Schottenheimer 2 times. Those were the guys the Cowboys decided to interview. The 4 guys, while the Bears 20 guys, the Jets 32 guys, we 4 guys, and then settle. And the thing is, we settle for our own guy, which we know already. Like. It's just a game they play, this front office. It's trash. So, look, Brian Schottenheimer's deal is 4 years with Dak Prescott's there.
I did want to mention one quick comment in the chat, just because since we're talking Schottenheimer. So, Kenzie Van said, you want to know something? I noticed that I think it's going to make sense if we get Ashton in the draft, because at the end of the season, Rico was running good, and I think that was Schottenheimer coaching.
Right.
And so it makes sense if we went that way. And Brian loves to run the football. So
I'll get into that. I will get into that in a minute. That's kind of my next point, actually.
Yeah. Talk to Sully jokingly said Jerry will bring in McCarthy to be our offensive coordinator.
That's funny. That'd probably be what a Jones move would be.
Yeah.
And listen, let me just break down. I guess you kind of beat me to the punch there, but listen. Brian Schottenheimer's last season as offensive coordinator in Seattle. All right. His offensive scheme is to run the football. It's a more heavy run offense than it was with McCarthy's a heavier pass offense. And honestly, the passing is the future on first down. It's more how you use the run game. But Schottenheimer was very basic in his run game in Seattle. That was the one thing that I didn't like. But his offensive scheme is to run the football. He uses a lot of play action, which is what I begged this team to do.
So you think that will still have like an unintended positive net effect on the offense?
I think the more play action is going to be better for the offense.
Yeah.
You're going to have, spreading things out when it comes to the way you line up the receivers. And you're also going to throw the ball deeper than you will with McCarthy. Okay. That's the game plan. We know it's kind of almost Kellen Moore-ish minus the more play action. Minus, you're going to get more play action with Schottenheimer than Kellen Moore. That's my point. You're going to get, less silly shit than with Schottenheimer than with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is going to give you more of the, the end around, the quadruple reverse on the goal line. While Schottenheimer's going to run the ball four times.
How cute Kellen Moore likes to get on.
But Schottenheimer, the difference I'm trying to say is that Schottenheimer will show you 4 runs on the goal line. What would you rather have? The 4 reverses on the goal line? Not reverses, but like the 3... Like the 3 reverse play on on first and goal on the 7, or would you rather see the Cowboys run 4 times from the 7?
Exactly.
Or 4 times from the 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point I think you're going to get. So you get a little advantages there from Schottenheimer, I think. But basically, what I'm trying to say is when you run the ball more, is that something McCarthy did? Did we see McCarthy run the ball more in his 5 years with the Cowboys?
No.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is Brian Schottenheimer, he's not going to just run the ball, but he's going to run the ball more. Something that we've wanted, something that McCarthy didn't do. Now, did we do a lot of play action with McCarthy and his offense?
No.
That's what you're going to see more of with Brian Schottenheimer. Did you see the Cowboys spread things out?
Even if whatever Schottenheimer's maybe original intentions are for doing that, the happy consequence of that
is going to be these
the
things. You
improvement
get
in the pass game. Yeah.
more play action. You're going to get, more running the football, whether it's good or bad. Listen, I don't know. It might be bad to run the ball, but we're going to get more of it. Some things that the Cowboy fans wanted, and we didn't get to see it until the end of the year. So that's what I'm trying to say. So Ty is right, because it is true. We're going to get more of that. Now, whether it's going to work or not we don't know what the answer is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if it's going to be good or bad for this team, the way it's set up. I think that's kind of the problem in some of this, is that maybe some of the guys we have currently are not made for that kind of consistency on offense. And I mean, I don't mean consistently, but I mean consistently running these kinds of play actions.
It's just that that was more of a, that's been made unfortunately clear.
I mean, with McCarthy, we did not, even though we threw the ball, we didn't throw deep a lot.
No.
Especially with Cooper Rush, obviously. So, again, these are things, with Kellen Moore, we threw deep. These are things that McCarthy refused to do as a play caller.
Now, Dessa Roberts said that he likes the fit of Schottenheimer.
All right, well, I mean, I think we still got to see. But my point is, Schottenheimer, with the play action, I'm a fan of. I want to see more motion while you snap the ball. Will we see that? That I don't know. I want to see smart running. I don't want to just see running 4 times blindly, even though on the goal line I agree. But I'm not saying I don't want to just be a run-heavy team blindly. I want to make sure we try to...
Well, that's why Dustin Roberts said it's a perfect match for what Dak needs.
All right, well...
So, hey, I mean, their contracts are tied together, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are.
Obviously they're going to sink or swim together.
Agree.
I sincerely hope he knows how to adapt to the things
He's got to utilize Dak to the best of his ability. By the way, Washington just tried to get try to go on push the Eagles into like a Hail Mary kind of situation. They went short and got the first down, but more importantly, stopped the clock and settling for an easy field goal here, trying to make this 27-15. It's a slight win going into the half. I'm not really sure who got the ball first, so someone let me know who gets the ball second half. We were setting up for the stream when it all was kind of going on in the background, but it looks like the Eagles called timeout to ice the kicker on their final timeout with 6 seconds before halftime here. Hopefully it'll be 27-15, although I wish both teams would blow up and we can have Detroit in the Super Bowl. I mean, if it had to be not us, of course, which it obviously will not be. But anyway, Schottenheimer, guys, he will do things that...
Eagles get the ball second half. Thank you, Sully.
Yes, thank you, Sully. So, again, that's not good. But the thing is, it is the truth. Now, McCarthy used to he refused a lot of these things. You're going to see that Schottenheimer's going to like to lean on more. Whether it's good or bad or ugly, we'll see. But I just want to kind of let you know that's the only hope we got going forward here with Schottenheimer. It's an okay move, but my bigger fear, it's not a Schottenheimer controlled team. And again, McCarthy had more control than Schottenheimer, in my opinion. And you say, well, from who? These two guys, which is the biggest issue.
Yeah.
These two guys. This is their Kellen Moore puppet that they get to put their fingers and dig deep into this offense where they have Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, who, because they're paying $95 million per year average, they feel they have a right to dictate how the offense runs. And Schottenheimer will probably be a yes man to that. That's my issue with this hire. But it's expected. I'm not surprised. It's the same old shit. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just another Jerry Jones, puppet hire, whether it was Jason Garrett, McCarthy,
There's much of a difference between.
Yeah, Dave Campo, whoever it may have been. So, I think the Cowboys, they did the hire that is basically a step backwards in a way. When it is what you're trying to do, it's almost like, putting all the eggs in the one basket of the, with Dak Prescott and wasting possibly some careers here. With Schottenheimer as the coach, kind of taking over the the top post, the head coach post, for the biggest team in football. So, anyways, by the way, kickoff here with 2 seconds left.
No, the biggest business in football. Let's be real.
For Jerry Jones, the biggest business.
James Hurst said it. Screw Jerry Jones.
Yeah, and that's the biggest issue.
So now I will agree with you on that.
By the way, they made the field goal. By the way, I was trying to make sure. Anyway, you hit halftime. 27-15 halftime.
Dustin Roberts said, "I like his energy in Schottenheimer over McCarthy." On that, I will agree.
Well, I don't see any energy from Schottenheimer, though. Really,
it's more the energy between him and Dak. Dak. At least that's what I'm thinking,
okay.
because I've always seen their interactions as like
McCarthy and Dak.
honestly, it does kind of remind me of how he used to be with Kellen Moore, in the sense of like they seem to
friendlier.
remember McCarthy never really seemed like he was like cool with anybody really on the team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, inevitably that means that usually the players get much closer to some of their position coaches or some of their players, or
Coordinators.
like those connections are forged in a different way. So I just think that Schottenheimer kind of filled that role. And I also think our quarterback coach also got signed, by the way.
Okay.
Somewhere.
I mean, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Our quarterback coach is pretty much blah. I don't mind losing someone like him. And I forgot his name right now. Is it? If someone says it, I'll know it. But the point is
Yeah,
is
I
that
can't remember him either.
I'm not done either with all the breakdowns yet, because we have to still fill in this staff under our coordinator. Again, I'm just trying to say some issues with Schottenheimer, and there's also a couple of good things you're going to see from Schottenheimer, but I don't think it's a game changer. I don't think he's a game changing pick. He's a safe Jerry Jones, hey, I get credit type pick. And that is what bothers me. The fact that the Jones will have, again, we know that the Jones will have their fingers involved in everything, their hands involved in everything, no matter who's the coach. Even if you get Bill Parcells, they were still enforcively involving themselves in shit. But I just want to make it as hard as possible for them to do that. And when you get Belichick, you got that. When you get, maybe a Robert Sidley or Pete Carroll, you might do that. But you don't do that with Rob. You don't have that now. And now there's no accountability. And when there's no accountability, that's going to happen. That's going to get down to the players. Even if he's a good coach, there's still no accountability, because you go to the Joneses. They're the ones that make the rules, not the head coach. And that's the problem.
Said, "Hola familia, what's
up? Welcome."
Yes. Super Queen and King said, "Screw Jerry Jones forever."
I agree.
Destorm said, "I think Everfluss is an upgrade over Zimmer."
And
Ty Church said, "Big Mike was a lie to kick it to get the job done." So.
Yeah, he lied. He lied to fucking get his. See, I think he lied to get that job. Again, little white lies, nonetheless, still lies. Look, the point is, I go back to Everfluss for a second, because forming this staff is the next question. Like, what do the Cowboys do with the rest of the staff?
Well, I think I just saw not that long ago that Mike Zimmer is choosing to retire from the NFL officially.
So Zimmer is out the door, right? So again, let's get the graphic to I'll try to pop up Zimmer. So Zimmer, obviously, the defensive coordinator, no more for the Cowboys, as he retired, and the Cowboys had to look for another guy. Now, here's the deal. This is what's crazy, guys. This is the craziness of the Cowboys. There's disputed reports on what's going on. Ed Werder yesterday broke news that the Cowboys have hired Matt Everfluss, former Cowboys linebacker coach.
Okay.
Then became the coach of the Bears that got fired there. Now he's back with the Cowboys as a defensive coordinator. That was the news from Ed Werder. I'm not sure if maybe it's a fake story, but that's what I heard as a real story. Basically, he's the new defensive coordinator on Brian Schottenheimer's staff. He was a defensive assistant under Rod Marinelli on Jason Garrett's staff from 2011 to 2017 as a linebackers coach mainly.
So again,
most recently the head coach of the Bears.
Previous Cowboy connection there, though.
Of course, right. Cowboy connection. So again, Zimmer gone, and under this Schottenheimer coaching staff, we have Everfluss, which again, he's a linebacker guru, so to speak. Let me put it that way, so you guys understand his specialty is linebackers. So the thing about Everfluss, guys, is how will he be as a coordinator? He's definitely defensive minded. But let me ask you this: in the past, he's very simplistic in his defense.
Okay.
All right. It's a bend, don't break type defense. I'm not a happy camper about I want the more aggressive defense.
Yeah.
Everfluss has a bend, don't break defense. You rush 4, you drop 7 in coverage. That's the basic mix. There's nothing to figure out. When you watch it, you can figure out his tape quick when it comes to Everfluss. He does not blitz a lot. So it's basically Dan Quinn with less blitzing. Well, it's not even Dan. Let me rephrase that. It's basically Zimmer with less blitzing, which is...
I think it's Everfluss, by the way.
Oh, what did I say? Everfluss?
Yeah.
Everfluss. I'm sorry. EB. Everfluss. So he doesn't blitz a lot. He plays a lot of cover 2, simplistic defensive schemes. So if you look at the way his schemes have been in the past, it does not fit the Cowboy personnel in a real way. And the 4-3-3-4 doesn't even matter, because his defense did not use pre-snap disguise on over 70% of their snaps last year. I'm sorry, in 2022 and 2023
No,
when
Flus.
he was with Everflus.
Eberflus.
Eberflus. When he 2022 and 2023 guys, they didn't use pre-snap disguise on over 70% of the defensive snaps, which is horrible. He ran a cover 1 and cover 2 at less than 20% rate. I'm sorry, a greater than 10%, 20% rate, and then he did have cover 3 at a greater than 30% rate. Ranked 28th when it came to overall blitzing during those years, and had the second highest stunt rate, only behind Dallas Cowboys' Dan Quinn at the time. Which again, he ranked first in stunt rate against running plays. So the one thing I will say, I'm not a big fan of
Okay.
Eberflus as being our defensive coordinator. But if he is, the one thing I will say he'll do is he'll improve our linebackers. He made Anthony Hitchens a decent linebacker in his time with Dallas. Of course, Sean Lee was Eberflus, but still, he was there with them during his biggest years there, basically almost his entire career there. He developed and maximized guys like Shaquille Leonard when he was with Indianapolis as a defensive coordinator there. And again, did very well with a lot of different linebackers they shoved into the defense there. They had to shove in um, with Chicago. So again, when you look at Eberflus as a defensive coordinator, he's going to be great for the linebackers, helpful for the linebackers. But then there's definitely some simplistic stuff about his defense. I'm not a big fan, but that's just me. I mean, I got to see it to believe it at this point. I just can't believe it because I see it. I see the star on the hat. I got to see it, and I don't know if I believe in these guys yet. They got to prove it. I think it's fair to not believe in these guys yet. I think it's fair to have them prove it. You know what that's called? Accountability. And that's something that haven't had in this team for 29 years. Because Jerry Jones gets the pass of being the general manager that creates these teams, coaches and teams, and never gets fired for it. 82 years old and a failure as a general manager. That is why we're still here. So, who else are the Cowboys interviewing? You talk about defensive coordinator. We know the offense is going to be run by Everflus, but it's going to be run by Schottenheimer, by Shoddy. I guess he'll be his name from now on. Shoddy, get your Shoddy out. So Schottenheimer is going to be the offensive. I don't know if he's going to be the play caller. We'll have to wait and see on that. But we know he's going to run the offense. He's the offensive mind. Defensive mind right now, we're thinking it'll be Eberflus. But the thing is that who's the special teams guy going to be? Right now, the Cowboys are interviewing Chris Banjo for the special teams coordinator job. He's been the Denver Broncos assistant special teams coach the last 2 years. Never a special team. He's the assistant special teams coach for the Broncos. Trying to see if he comes onto the Cowboys roster here as the special teams coordinator to replace Bones Fossil. That's a downgrade, possibly. Now, other guys still in the mix for coaching spots on this team, on this staff. Jason Witten.
Okay.
Probably as a tight ends coach, I'm guessing. DeMarcus Ware, who's maybe a defensive line coach type of different. These are guys with us losing these coaches, basically all the coaches. These names are now coming up. Former Cowboy players, right? I mean, just like it's typical Jerry Jones.
It's like again, we should have known everything after he mentioned that Dan Campbell thing, just because again, that's what he is trying to do. He's trying to throw as many Dan Campbell's potentials onto this team to see which one of them will rise to the top like a weird Hunger Games version of head coach.
Dan Campbell was also a tight ends coach, being a former tight end, right? So who are the Cowboys going at tight ends coach? It's not Jason Witten, it looks like, because maybe Jason Witten might be the offensive coordinator. But the Cowboys requested an interview today with Falcons tight ends coach Kevin Toger. And why do they interview him why do they interview the Falcons tight end coach? Why? For the Cowboys offensive coordinator job. So we're taking a tight end coach and bringing him in as an offensive coordinator to Brian Schottenheimer. So it's maybe tight end heavy, run game kind of mindset for this team. I don't know. But either way, I guess you could still have Jason Witten as the tight ends coach. My mistake. But right now, I don't know where Lunda Wells is, but he's also a guy whose probably contract expired. I would like to not lose him as our tight ends coach. Now, the last thing I'll say is this is where the strange part happens about the Matt Eberflus quote unquote hiring. That was Ed Werder saying that. But today I heard the Cowboys are interviewing former Bears assistant Andre Curtis.
Okay.
And for what position? For the Cowboys defensive coordinator role.
So which is it then?
That's the thing. I don't think Eberflus is a definitive thing unless Ed Werder has some inside information we don't know. Or that was a fake report. Either way.
Maybe it's something on the other side. Maybe Eberflus is the one. Eberflus is the one who turned it down in the end.
I don't know. I'm not hearing either thing. I'm still hearing both of these coaches are now in consideration for the defensive coordinator job. So basically, the Andre Curtis connection is he ties to both Brian Schottenheimer and Matt Eberflus, which makes him an obvious candidate no matter how to join this staff. He's going to be part of this staff, is what I'm trying to say is Andre Curtis, because he ties to both guys.
Yeah.
So look for that. Now, will it be the same? Maybe it'll be some kind of assistant defensive coordinator role.
Okay.
Maybe what we're going to do. I don't know. As far as offense, we talked about, the tight ends coach, Koger from the Falcons, who's now maybe the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
Okay.
But the Cowboys also are looking at DeMarco Murray and Tashard Choice as the next running back coaches. Former Cowboy running back coaches.
Yeah.
So again, both these guys have also been the running back coaches, to be fair, of Oklahoma and Texas universities. So again, DeMarco Murray was the Oklahoma running back coach there. And Texas University had Tashard Choice, which we've known a lot about him. He's been working a lot with the Cowboy running backs, even when he's not been part of our staff. So those are guys that are looked upon as Cowboy running back coaches on this offensive staff with Schottenheimer. I just want to break them all down for you guys so you get a kind of a picture of what's going together here. Really a bunch of young, former Cowboy players and maybe former Cowboy coaches with Eberflus, right? So when you look at this, Brian Schottenheimer's coaching staff rumors, potential offensive coordinator, Kevin Koger, tight end coach in the Falcons. Potential defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus with Andre Curtis. Two guys in the mix. I don't know if it's one or both. Then you also have potential special teams coordinator, Chris Banjo. And another guy who we've heard a lot of, maybe being part of the staff, and Jason Witten. Now I'm hearing literally today that he may not be part of this staff all of a sudden.
So
maybe
who decided to turn that down?
Maybe Kevin Koger, the guy from the Koger, Koger.
Okay.
So Koger, if he decided to say, "Well, I got my mind on these guys," or maybe they said, we're going to keep Linda Wells. Maybe Jason Witten want more control. I don't know, but whatever it is, it sounds like Jason Witten is kind of falling off a little bit as one of the choices here to be part of this.
I know it feels like for the Cowboys to be so gung ho over Jason Witten, I just can't see that falling off being from their side.
Interesting.
Just my personal opinion. Of course, it could be that, they had all these dreams, and once they saw him and met him, they were like, okay, forget it. But
yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that too. I mean, I'm like, you know what? I just think it's kind of falls in line with the usual stuff that the Cowboys pull in.
Just again, why would he want to get himself involved in that mess when he's perfectly fine, at home without that kind of Cowboy spotlight constantly
during the high school incident now. There's no need, no. So then, guys, so that is basically. I mean, look, when you look at what you're gonna get with Brian Schottenheimer on a lot of running, so it kind of brings me to one last thing here, which is our offensive linemen. We're gonna have some issues with this, of course, with some, maybe some guys getting older like Zach Martin.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, in this game right now, we're seeing the second half kick off here. 0 punts in the first half, and that's the first time that's ever happened in a postseason game. I didn't see the whole thing, but point is,
since 2003, that was the last time.
That's crazy. So what I was gonna say is that there's some good news to end it with for Schottenheimer, for Schotty, and this offense. It's gonna be run. It seems like it's gonna be a lot more. Let's say run heavy than it was with. With Mike McCarthy, who was like a pass first and pass everything, it felt like, which is almost too much. But the lowest pressure rates allowed by rookie offensive linemen last year, Zach Frazier from the Pittsburgh Steelers was number one with a 2.3% pass rate allowed. Number two was Cooper Beebe, a rookie last year, they're number 56, with a 2.9%. pass rate rush allowed, which is second best among rookie offensive, not centers, offensive linemen. So that's something good. Again, when we do pass, we know we can trust Cooper Beebe in the middle. We know we got Zach Martin. Can we trust him not falling off more? Can we trust, guys like Terrence Steele maybe even being here? I don't know if he's going to even be here. We have to wait and see. We didn't even get to the coaching side. I mean, to the player side of things. Yeah, we're just on the coaching side of things. And when you look at the other side, you got solid guys. Of course, Tyler Smith, great. And then you got question marks with Guyton. But we got to roll with him. He's a first round pick, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have to roll with him. So when you look at this, that's what we got going forward for this run heavy kind of minded play action, which I do like, offense of Brian Schottenheimer. So any kind of comments and thoughts before we kind of end this? This is okay, guys. We're doing this during the game, but this is for more video purposes than it is a live stream to watch. You guys are more than welcome to drop the love or the thanks or drop the any kind of donations you guys would like. But this is more to keep everybody up to date on the facts on our Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. And Troop Cowboy, what's up? We got A-Town Frank in the house. Talked to Sully, said, okay, Mr. C, then talk about the draft. Will Dallas overreach with trying to take GT in the first round? Johnson?
I mean, again, I don't want to see the Cowboys go running back. If that's who we're talking about here in the first round.
Well, but
if
I
things
think
change
it
with
was-
strategies when you have a different head coach, right?
I think it was Kenzie Bands who said that one of the reasons he likes Schottenheimer is because he's excited to see him and what he can do with the run game.
Yeah, but does that mean
So,
use
no,
the first
just saying
pick on a
that,
run?
with
Yeah.
Schottenheimer being maybe a more run-thinking head coach, will the Cowboys lean more towards, getting a running back in the first round?
Great question. I mean, it definitely ups the chances. I agree. But I don't know if it might be second or third round running back, possibly. We'll see. Do we want to keep Rico in the mix?
I feel
A lot
like
of questions
I
have to be
have
answered.
thought about this for a while, but I feel like if I'm looking at the teams that keep consistently winning, they tend to go for more skill players in the first round over anything. So, you know what? Fuck it. Receiver, running back, tight end, I guess even like that.
Not in the first round, but yeah, I know what you mean.
You get my point though.
Focus on those positions.
I would rather see a receiver or running back. Oh, nice sack. Than I think almost any other position, just because at this point maybe that's the
key.
the closest thing that we can do draft wise to maybe move the needle. Because another offensive lineman, another defensive edge, another linebacker. I not saying that these people wouldn't be able to have an impact or wouldn't have an impact or we can go wrong because we need them all.
Right, I agree.
Let me make that clear. Corner, I mean, I can go in any other direction. But if we're talking immediate impact or biggest impact, fuck it. Just get us another baby CeeDee Lamb in there and make him our number 2 or number 3 the way that when CeeDee Lamb was our number 3, our offense, was doing pretty solid then,
as
right?
long as we utilize it, you know what I mean? As long as we utilize them, I'm with it.
That's my real only solid thought when it comes to the draft right now. Other than that, we have so many positions of need.
I mean, I want us to figure out what we're going to do with our free agents before the draft.
Yeah.
Free agency is more important right now than the draft. And the guys we lose, more on who we're going to lose because we're not going to gain
definitely
anymore.
Leaning more running back, right? Dustin Roberts said, Ashton definitely is in play. I believe Johnson's the best player in the draft. Ty Church said we need running backs. I want weapons.
But let me ask you guys a question. What if the Cowboys go after a running back in free agency for $4 million or $5 million? And does that change your view on the first round running back? You guys feel me on this? That's why, to me, I don't look at the running back. I don't look at the draft. I look at free agency, who we keep and who we don't keep before I look at who we're going to draft. Because that draft stuff will change.
I feel like there's a higher chance of us drafting John T in the first than there is of us going after any free agent.
I agree. For
running back for that amount of money.
I agree, but I'm saying there's always that option. Is my point.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, there's always that option. If a good deal guy comes through and the Joneses feel happy about it, they might roll with that. Yep. I mean, we didn't think they bring Zeke back, but hey, guess what?
Two Cowboys said, "I miss Al Harris already. We should have done whatever it took to keep him."
Yeah.
Well,
that's the Cowboys do.
Didn't bother to even let their coaches know they were fired.
Yeah.
So, or at least not coming back. Chuck Sully said Dallas has to do something in free agency. They
can open up 90. They can open up.
It from the rooftops.
They can. Yeah, we've been screaming for years, but they've always have the ability to open up 70, 80. This time coming around almost 90, $100 million on the cap. If they wanted to, they won't. And we know they won't. So if they don't, then it's the same old shit, guys. It's going to be a couple low-key guys. Maybe Kendricks is our best kind of guy that we get, which is not saying much. No offense to him. Mm-hmm. And then the rest are draft and hope and cross your fingers. And sometimes it works out. Tyler Smith. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Tyler Guyton. Mozzie Smith. So I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can rely only on the draft.
So it is what it is. So, okay, so Tycher said, I want Javonte Williams running back. Broncos. And
Oh,
AJ.
see, that's okay. So that's what I'm trying to say. So you're saying load up on running
Yeah,
backs, get rid of Rico, and we just load up on top running backs and use 2 or 3 of them.
basically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that will be what he wants to do. He would love to. The Schottenheimer would love to do more of that, and then play action out of that to CD Lamb
It's
and
funny.
other guys.
For any other team, that would be some dumb shit to pull. Because of the way that we are
The
structured
'90s
from an
mindset,
organizational perspective,
Jerry's
not even a
'90s
90s mindset.
mindset.
What would Jerry even come close to allowing you to do? I mean, our real only chance here is to somehow get some kind of weapon, some kind of hammer that can just absolutely crush through as many obstacles as we can. That's it. And the rest is up to everything else, as much as we can possibly allow.
Jeez.
So, talk to Sully saying if we don't fix our own line, the running backs mean nothing.
And again, I agree, but we've been fixing the offensive line, right?
Yeah,
So
that's why I said
what do we
that.
do? We have 3 guys on the left center, and the 2 left guys are all rookies or
That's why I
young
said
guys.
I am just bringing this back to
Not
skills
rookies anymore,
players.
but yeah.
That's why I said we've tried the O line, we tried the D line, we tried linebacker, we tried everything. The 2 real biggest impacts have been Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. And I don't think we're going to find ourselves another Micah in the same way. But CeeDee Lamb, like there's quite a few really good receivers, and our receiving core is made up of CeeDee Lamb.
But right now,
And
no Brandon Cooks.
basically.
I mean, Tolbert's a 3rd or 4th
We
guy.
basically stuck our thumb up our ass when it came to using Kevontae Turpin's speed as well. So like, just that's what I'm saying.
And
like,
listen, I will say this: I've
whatever.
heard that Schottenheimer will be using more of Kevontae Turpin.
Hopefully.
But again, like you say, hopefully, we'll have to wait and see. That's why I say I know there's some pointers that maybe, but in the end, who has control? Does Schottenheimer have control? Does Conte Turpin have control? No, the Joneses have control, and that's my biggest fear. The fact that they're in control lessens my hopes for any good things happening. Because of the fact that this I said corporation, it's a corporation with the Joneses. That's why we just can't do this. And it's very frustrating to deal with the Joneses' way of. We're always going to be here. We're always going to have streams and information on our Cowboys and talk about it. But my goodness, this is just obviously it's like there's obviously no attempt to really fix his team in a real way.
Yeah,
it's grasping for straws and hoping you get Dan Campbell. That's not the way to run an organization. The way and by holding off, you lost opportunities. We talked about the way that they did the signings with CD and Dak. We go back to Zach Martin and others before that. How badly everything has been mismanaged. It's just more of the same, and that's why Cowboy fans are fucking pissed.
exactly.
And that's why they're done. Like I will never be a fan of another team, but we're done with the same old bullshit from the Joneses. Same old bullshit. It's not even your fault, Schottenheimer. It's just you chose to take the job that you're going to have to get the blame for because the Joneses ain't taking the blame. You're taking the blame.
Exactly.
That's the way it's built for that, and that's the way it always be. The only people that realize that are the people that see the clown show and say, okay, we know that they're the issue, even if we hate Schottenheimer or McCarthy or Jason Garrett. But in the end, we know the real problem is these 2 fucking clowns. Case fucking closed. Let's just be real. That's where the problems begin. The people that help us, there's guys that help us from that. It could be worse if we didn't have a guy like Will McClay nearby.
I know. And
everything's on his shoulders.
In the same spot.
Yeah, everything's on his shoulders. So he'll fail sometimes. But goddamn, he's succeeded much more than Jerry Jones has. So Jerry Jones ties everyone's hands up. No one's gonna have a chance, whether it's Will McClay, whether it's Brian Schottenheimer, whether it was Mike McCarthy, doesn't matter who. Jerry Jones will have his way. And when he dies, Stephen Jones will have his way. That's the way it's going to be. And it's sad for us Cowboy fans. We got to deal with this shit. But listen, Cowboy fans got to stay Cowboy fans true. But we don't have to give money to these motherfuckers anymore. These 2. So Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, as we say this, when we had the Garrett issues, we're going to say it again now. Don't buy any new gear from these 2 guys. Don't go watch any games. Watch them on TV. Maybe, do what you can if you have to, to watch the games. My point is, wear your gear you've had for years.
Exactly.
We got gear for years, baby, and we're going to continue to rep it. That's it. Whether it's jerseys we're wearing, whether it's T-shirts, whether it's long sleeve sweaters, jackets, whatever the fuck, hoodies. Wear your gear that you have for years. Wear those all-stars that represent the team. Whether it's your favorite player, if it's Romo or Des Bryant or Dak or whoever. But that's it. Whatever you got, you got. You can't go back. Use that gear. Don't buy new shit. Don't buy tickets. And if everyone really truly did that, and we know they're not going to, but if everyone truly, it would actually make a difference in Jerry Jones's world. Not necessarily doing what we want, but the one thing I want, I don't only want a new coach. I don't want a new quarterback. I want a new GM. That I will not stop saying gear for years until we get a new GM. And I don't mean Stephen Jones when Jerry dies. I mean a new GM, a real GM. See me right there next to that fucker Jalen Hurts? His GM. Give me a Howie Roseman. And then we can start talking real chances to win Super Bowls. Real chances to be competitive. The Eagles haven't won one Super Bowl in 8 years, but they've been competitive every year. So, Jerry Jones can have the best of both worlds. He'd rather do it his way and lose than do it the right way and win.
Exactly.
That's the killer for us as Cowboy fans. That over everything, it's that star. Over your ass, Jerry. Over
everything.
Over every coach. Over Tom Landry. Over Roger Staubach. Over everybody, especially the Joneses. It's the star over everything. Remember that fan base. Remember that Cowboy family. Remember that. Anyways, I don't know if there's any other comments, but we appreciate everybody. I see real shit.
It's just real shit.
Yeah, he came off his beat down. I wish you'd be on After Dark, bro. We gotta get you on After Dark so you can show off your shiner and everything else. So we got the full story, so we know what's going on with you, man. So make sure you bring it on After Dark. We'll be seeing you there soon, I'm sure. Later tonight / Monday morning. So yeah, don't shut your eye all the way, even though it's swollen. We want to see you over there, real shit. We got a couple questions to ask you. Can't wait. But in the end, you're on the couch here with us.
Exactly.
So remember that. Your team ain't better than us. Your team sucks. Maybe worse than
a little
us.
black and yellow yourself.
Yeah, you got black and yellow, literally. Anyways, on that note, I mean, baby, I don't know if it's any other real shit. We go.
Sully pointing out too, Jerry never takes questions from fans, only from the ass-kissing media.
Exactly, and if you dare ask any question that's against Jerry Jones's, lines in the sand he puts in there, well, he will reprimand you like you're a little child, as we saw that happen this year when they asked him a question about how can you fix his team? The GMing issues, just any question that ruffles his feathers, he will put you down because he owns Dallas. He owns Dallas media. By the way, speaking of owning, those the Eagles own the NFC and the NFC East and the NFC, I should say.
Yeah.
I should start with the NFC East and then the NFC because Goddard did another 20-yard pass, another first down, her first and goal for the Eagles. So this game's over. Philly's blowing out the Washington Commanders. So we're gonna, say peace out here after they score probably first and goal from the 9. But what I'm trying to say here, it sucks. Fuck Philly forever. I don't care who wins today. I don't care if it's Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. And listen, I hate Patrick Mahomes maybe doing something. The one good thing is that if Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, it'll be a three-peat, never done in history. But Brady didn't do it either.
True.
It wasn't just the Cowboys. The Eagles just scored a touchdown, so this game is over officially. I still say fuck Philly. I still say cry Eagles cry. I will always say 5 is greater than 1.
Always.
And if they somehow get lucky and win another one, 5 is still greater than 2. I have to fix this, but yeah, that's still the way. But still, fuck Philly, and I can't wait till they cry in 2 weeks in the Super Bowl. Cry Eagles cry. That's my goal now for the rest of this year. So listen, we want Josh Allen and the Bills. If you're a Cowboy fan, you want Josh Allen to win the Super Bowl with the Bills. The Bills have 0 Super Bowls. They lost back-to-back to us. They lost 4 in a row to Washington and the Giants and back-to-back to us. So it's going to be Philly versus, one of these two teams. We hope it's Buffalo, and we hope Buffalo beats Philly. Philly to shit. We're going to be actually, quote-unquote, Buffalo, rooting for Buffalo that day if Buffalo wins their game against KC. But if KC wins, and they're in the Super Bowl, and they win, and I think they can beat the Eagles as well. The Eagles will be, it'll be a boring, stupid-ass Super Bowl. We will not even probably broadcast. But we hope that Mahomes and his Chiefs go three-peat because it's not just a Cowboy record to go back-to-back or go 2 times in 3 years, 2 times in 4 years. I'm sorry, 3 wins in 4 years. Because the Patriots have done that. The Chiefs have done that. But no one's done a three-peat. And if they do that, they'll be the first in history. I'd rather they do that than have the Eagles win number 2.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys are thinking out there, but that's what I'm thinking.
Quick little side note, by the way. Apparently the whole Andre Curtis thing was only to satisfy the Rooney Rule. In case you're wondering.
So there you go, guys. Matt Eberflus will be the defensive coordinator, but the Andre Curtis, because I'm assuming he's black. I'm assuming he's a minority, so that satisfies the Rooney Rule, and so Jerry Jones, the Rooney Rule does nothing. So, you take that as
there you go. Just throwing that out there. That's the only reason that the Eberflus hire maybe hasn't been officially announced because they realize, like, oh shit, wait, We can't just do it.
Mm.
So Aztec Aguilar 04 said, it doesn't matter who wins the NFC Championship game. The AFC is winning the Super Bowl again.
That's all I care about right now. Even if it means a three-peat, never done by the Cowboys. First thing they ever do is the Chiefs. So what? At least it's not the Eagles winning again.
Agree.
I got to pick Kansas City if they make it, and I'm definitely hoping and picking the Buffalo Bills. That they make it and beat the Eagles to shit.
Chris
That's what I
Plumage
hope.
said, MCF, McCarthy duped Jerry into hiring him, but now I feel duped with the shoddy hire.
Yeah. Hey, even no matter how much they dupe the clown show is always duping the fan base. Always. They're not duping you or me, guys. We're hoping. We're fans. They prey on the fact that we are fans. They know we hope. And because we hope, they make money.
Exactly.
And they play us. And they make us look and feel like fools sometimes. But in the end, it is what you got to remember, guys. This is what we expected. That they would do a Jerry Jones type move, and it would have been a Jason Witten, Deion Sanders, or Schottenheimer move, or Kellen Moore move. They're all bad, in my opinion. Yeah, Steka, the Commanders collapsed. Let me fix the score so we got to hear you guys get the right info. What was that score, by the way? 30 what?
33, 34?
34, I think. My God, horrible. 34-15.
Yep, 34-15.
Yeah, 34-15. So unless, down by 19, unless they score 3 times.
That's going to be tough to do.
Yeah, against the number 1 defense in the league in Philadelphia. It looks like Philly's in the Super Bowl.
The biggest problem here isn't, like, they really fucked themselves. They made a lot of mistakes that the Philly offense capitalized on, obviously.
Yeah, fumbles after fumbles, yeah.
And not all of them caused by the defense. That's the biggest thing. Like, Philly's defense, there's a reason they're the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah.
You can see it every time they're out there on the field. But it's not impossible, but every single chance they had, Washington basically fucked themselves.
Yep, they helped. They helped the Eagles fuck them. But at the end, that's what a good team does, though, is that they take advantage of people's teams' fuck-ups, and that the Eagles did. So I will say right now, a little pre-congrats to Frank, to, of course, the great LT.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats on going to your 3rd Super Bowl in basically 8 years. We hope it's going to be your 2nd loss in the last 8 years. In the last 3 years, we hope it's going to be your 2nd loss.
Yeah.
So last year we had to hope against the Niners a couple of years in a row, and then we had to hope against the Eagles now a couple of years in a row. I mean, this sucks as a Cowboy fan. These are the worst of times where our team's struggling, and the teams like the Washington Commanders, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles are basically knocking at the Super Bowl door every fucking year. The only difference is, thank goodness, they got the Chiefs to stand in their fucking way, or it could be a lot worse for the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Let me put it that way. We're just spitting the truth here, guys, no matter how it is, how bad it is. So, forever Cowboy fans for life. Fuck everybody in the NFL, but you know what? Buffalo, try to beat the Eagles. And if it's not you, it's KC, try to beat the Eagles. And hey, maybe a miracle happens and we get 21 points by Washington, middle of the 3rd quarter, right? You never know. Hey, and then guess what? Beat the Eagles. Just someone beat the fucking Eagles. Fuck Philly, as we say here in MCF. On that note,
Chris Plumage.
We say fuck Philly and say fuck the Eagles. We say both those things because we came up with those words first, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry. That was for one person that he knows what it's about. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby. We laugh at him all the time. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, just Chris Plumage said, I will never leave this franchise, but goddamn do they make it hard.
I'm telling you.
LOL, our logo should be by definition of insanity in the dictionary.
Yeah. They should have logos of crazy people in an asylum.
Like I said, Jerry's poor management of the team has no bearing on my fandom, even if it does have a bearing on, how excited I am to be a fan. But we will be a fan regardless of how much Jerry tries to fuck this team.
Yeah, it's the enthusiasm and the hope.
Support Jerry in his endeavor to turn us into the biggest laughingstock of the NFL.
Yeah, that's what makes us even hate it more. But it's the enthusiasm that we have. It's, what I'm saying, it's this decrease when it's horrible moves made by the front office. But we still are fans. And can I say for life? At least we know when our team started, right? Real shit. I mean, what? Anyways.
Exactly. I think I get all for exactly. Fuck the Philly Eagles. We don't want them or the Commanders to win a ring this year. I'm rooting for an AFC team in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
James Hurst said, I'd rather have the other win than the Chiefs. So True Cowboy said, our new head coach is a coach's son and has been around football all his life. He might surprise us.
Again, it's a 1 out of 1,000 chance, right? I mean, it's a chance. I hope it happens. And if it's kind of like saying, I don't like this presidential candidate or I don't like that presidential candidate, but I want him to do good because it helps this country. I want to be wrong about Jason Garrett when he was with us, but I couldn't help but be right. I want to be wrong about the Joneses, but I can't help be right. And I want to be wrong about I was gonna say Marty, his dad. I was gonna say I want to be right. I want to be wrong about Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
I don't want to be right about Brian Schottenheimer. But I think you know what I'm saying. I will have to wait and see what happens. I hope he's the next Dan Campbell type. I hope he's the next big name coach. But there's nothing in 10 years that proves differently.
Yeah.
Nothing in his 10 years that proves he's going to be anything different than just another 3-and-out, 4-and-out year coach, wasting the years of our players. That's it. Wasting the little windows people have to win Super Bowls. We're throwing it out the window with this move, in my opinion.
Well, there you
But
go.
we'll see what happens. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really do. Anyways, on that note, guys, I know we had a couple other
Yeah, no,
final
some
thoughts,
final
but
shout outs here. James Hur, Chris Plumage, Plastic Aguilar 04. We have True Cowboy in the house, Frank. Even you, real shit, I guess. John Jones, what's up? MCF, MCW Cowboys Nation, yes.
yeah,
Talk to Sully, of course, MCF's resident ref, and
yeah.
another fellow clown show believer, you could say. Ty Church, I want Cooper back. I get you. Dustin Roberts, much love to you. Let me see, we have Kenzie Mann's in the house.
Yeah.
Spoon.
No one hit the goal, of course. We didn't hit any goals today, but hey, we're all
That's
gold
back
out.
as lets me go at least on my
We're all
side.
gold
So
out right now. A big shout out to John Luna, skeptical fan, but I want to give a big shout out to Charlie and the love to him and his
yes,
family and everything that was said. Again, read the description below and in the chat in the description, and we'll keep that up for a while when we go on live here, especially John Luna running the thing here. Um, honestly, we're gonna probably just keep it going. I guess keep this board going
yeah, of course.
until we have more action on there.
Representing
Little
the
action
membership
here.
there, NDM Boogie. Much love in the Navy Blue for 24 months.
What do you have to say for his monthly message?
Even though our Cowboys are clown show, still a fan for life.
Fan for life. The real fans stick it out. And that's what we're doing with you guys. You guys doing this with us. The real fans stick it out to the end, and that's it. Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly, as we
That's
say
right.
here, guys.
But drop those clown emojis
If you got
them.
Yeah, if you can do them, drop them. Big shout outs to you, man. I appreciate you, Mr. Indian Boogie, who, like I said earlier, back in that Navy Blue crew. We'll be live again. We'll see if we do it. Again, guys, I did post a little bit of information about MCF After Dark in the beginning of this stream, I think. I don't know if it's there anymore. The point is, if you find it, if you really want to search for it, we will probably do a little mini stream next time. Let's say for the Super Bowl in 2 weeks at the latest. We'll probably do like a little mini stream on here.
Yes.
Smaller than this hour-and-a-half stream. We'll do like a 15-minute stream or something like a pre-game stream, and then we're gonna do a party stream probably on MCF After Dark. So if you're part of this crew here, you want to go over there. We have panelists, we have drinks, we have fun, we play music sometimes. So we talk about obviously we're gonna talk about the football, the Super Bowl while it's going live. So we'll be doing that probably, in 2 weeks. We'll do a little pre-gamer here and let you know where you can find us for that special Super Bowl
Yes.
party, I guess you could say, in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
In
but
2
baby,
weeks.
there is a reason why we do what we do.
There is a reason why we do what we do.
And it's that navy blue,
It is,
that
yes.
silver too,
That's true.
and that star over everything.
Over everything. The goal is to get that 6 and beyond. And hey, you know what? Here on MCF, no matter what happens, here it's about that Navy. Well, you said the Navy Blue Silver
Yeah.
the star, but again, win, lose, or draw for us, and good, bad, or ugly for us. Here at this channel, we always rep that star over everything. And here on this channel for 8 years, 8 seasons, but 8 years plus 7 years plus 8 seasons doing this thing. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever, as always, and say it with us. Go Cowboys! And fuck Philly.
Oh.
Guys, thank you guys for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you guys for dropping your love from above since we've been going live at the beginning of time, even though tonight none. But also, I do want to say, congrats to the fucking Eagle fans. I can't stand the Eagles. Washington just scored, by the way. So, hey, there's still an outside chance. 2 touchdowns in a quarter and a half, right? So Washington scored. But, guys, appreciate you guys dropping your knowledge in the chat, the love from above all year, the help, and, the memberships, all that good stuff, the cash apps, whatever it may be. Can't do this without your guys' love and support. But as we clock out and drop out of here for the night, relock and reload for any new news. Real news for the Cowboys coming, in the near future. We'll be going live for that, and of course, a little pre-gamer for the Super Bowl party, an MCF After Dark.
Yep.
So make sure you join us for that as well. But baby, before we can drop out of here and clock out officially, what do we got to do before we drop out of here for the night?
We gotta drop the beat.
And yes, it's official. The beat's been dropped, guys, and it is also official that Washington here got the 2-point conversion. So as we leave you here, guys,
34-23.
34-23. I wish I could run my stream better here, and I do a better job. I promise you guys. But here it is. So yeah, the official score is what? 34-23. It's an 11-point game. You never know, right? Guys, we'll see. Hopefully the Eagles will be out before we even get to the Super Bowl. We know we're going to be hoping that Josh Allen hopefully gets the Bills there for a Super Bowl. Here, we talked about McCarthy gone. New coach hired. Schottenheimer in the driver's seat here for the clown show, Jerry and Stephen Jones. And of course, we talked about the NFC Championship game and a little bit about the AFC Championship game. We talked about it all here on MCF. Here for another Cowboys chat. News, info, and updates, guys. That's what we do. Here on MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here in my Cowboys family. You guys rocking the spot with us. Can't do this without you all, the family. Thank you all for hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell to all videos, following us, not just here, but After Dark, MCF After Dark. Check it out. And also, following us on Twitter X at MyCowboysFamily. Doing the thing over there on Discord, My Cowboys Family. And of course, hey, make sure you leave a comment down below if you're watching us on a replay. Guys, thank you. Stay safe. Much love and peace. And as always, never forget, no matter what, Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.